company tax is being increased and the Commonwealth Public Service is to take a further cut. Elvis Presley has died at the age of 42.
Not even the death of the King could upset the nation's priorities. First, the budget details, then 3 paragraphs saying Elvis the Pelvis had died suddenly at his home in Memphis, America. Across the world, and in Australia where the budget was temporarily forgotten, aging idols of the legendary rock and roll performer rang newspapers, television and radio stations, registering their grief. On Peter Barlow's morning talkback show on 6PR, the entire program was given over to an Elvis in memoriam.
I'd just like to thank Elvis for all the good that he's done in the fact that emancipating females, freeing them from all their sort of Victorian situation, and also for showing people how to enjoy life and how to love and live and go on happily ever after. And I'd just like to thank him for the great contribution he's made to mankind.
How old are you?
11.
11. And you reckon there's never going to be another Elvis?
No.
How long have you been an Elvis Presley fan?
About, ever since I heard him, and I watch all his movies and everything, and my mum likes him too.
What's the reaction been in Sydney to Presley's death?
Oh, it's been pretty, it's been pretty hectic, of course, like everywhere else, I suppose, you know. Everybody's been phoning up.
Yeah, we opened the phone lines here at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now in Perth 9 minutes to 11, and the phone calls haven't stopped coming through.
The station continued its morning program an extra hour because of the demand to hear Presley records. For Barlow, it was 3 hours of great emotion and finally fatigue.
It was unbelievable. I had no idea that so many people in so many different age groups, that was the most astounding thing, felt so strongly about Presley. You know, we had one kid of 5 rang up.
Really?
We had a grandmother of 75 rang up.
What were some of the comments that people made, some of the general comments about Elvis Presley?
It was one of shock, was the overall comment that was made, even though the point was made by quite a few listeners that they expected it, but everyone was deeply shocked, and a lot of people rang and said that they weren't Elvis Presley fans, but they felt that they had to ring up and pay tribute to the King of Rock and Roll.
Elvis Presley was born at Tooboolo, California in 1935. He was 19 when he recorded his first hit single, That's All Right. But it was his signing with Colonel Tom Parker in 1955 that launched him into a string of hits which made him the most popular single recording artist so far this century.
Let me tell you people, little Egypt doesn't dance there anymore. She's too busy mopping and taking care of shopping at the store. 'Cause we got 7 kids and all day long they crawl around the floor.
Millions of people are now mourning his death. A few will share a special sadness.
My version of yesterday. All my troubles.
Jane Clark, former dance school and nightclub entertainer, is one. She knew Presley intimately when he was a GI in the late 50s. Her home in Balcatta is littered with mementos of her dancing days, as well as a few photographs she took of Presley and, of course, stacks of records.
I met him when I was working as a Bluebell girl in Paris at the Lido, and he was in the army. He used to come down to Paris for his leaves. He came 4 or 5 times and always headed for the Lido.
To see you?
Well, to see not just me. He had a lot of friends there, you know. He managed to get to know a lot of the girls, and me too, of course.
And you went out a few times?
Yes, yeah. I used to like taking baths in his hotel suite, because in my hotel we didn't have a bath or it cost extra. So he used to say, come and have a bath any time, and I was always there, you know, and he always knew where to find me in the bath.
Were you very close in those days?
For a short time, yes.
What was he like in those days? Was he very racy then, as a young man?
Yes, he certainly got around. Wanted to do everything in his spare time, you know, away from the army. He just wanted to get into everything, see every show, get to know everybody, go to all the movies, go for drives and everything. It was great fun.
Some people suggested he was very wild in those days and had lots of women friends. Is that true?
He probably did, yes. probably. I mean, he was free, why not?
And when you hear his music now, does it affect you?
Yes, I've gone goosebumpy now.
What are you going to remember most of all about Elvis?
Just his way that he was. What a nice person, full of fun, really unassuming, considering his position. And the music and everything that he's given to the world, being a legend in his own lifetime through how many generations? 3, 4, 5. He's the king. He still is.
Well, I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back. Like a homesick train on a one-way track.